Oh, that's very fancy. Okay, great. So let's start. So this is the May 2021 Prior's Corner investor update. This morning I sent out the updated newsletter and cash flow forecast. I'm going to follow the format in the newsletter in terms of giving the update. So obviously we have issued practical completion to Brymore and we have 14 flats finished. So those are numbers 1 through 13 and 15. And then there are 2 other flats which are part completed, which are 14 and 16. So the new small contractor, John Baker, you'll be familiar with Martin from some of the projects at OSEA. So Martin Rudd has reluctantly agreed to do this project for us to complete those last 2 units. I don't think we are getting the best value for money here, but we are getting the best value for money that these circumstances can provide. And actually, hi Craig. Oh, hi Craig, can you hear us okay? Just nod. Yeah, are you there, Craig? Are we good? And Steph and Jeff have just joined too. So Craig, I've started. You look like you can't hear. If you just nod or give me a thumbs up or something, or say hello.
I've just managed to turn on my audio, so hi guys.
There we go, you're in, great. I've literally just started 10 seconds ago. Steph and Jeff, give me a wave or say hello, hiya, good. We've literally just 10 seconds started. So the small contractor, Martin Rudd, is in place. I do think this is the best value versus quality solution that we are likely to get. No builder likes to pick up someone else's work. And I've done lots of projects with Martin before. He's a trusted pair of hands. He's the right size builder for a smaller bit of work. And he's good quality at this size and scale. So it's not the greatest bargain of the century, but it's a sensible price and he's a good builder. And crucially, he will work very well with building control. We've had a bit of a challenge with this building control officer, even with someone as professional as Brymore. We've faced that challenge, we've got over it, and the building control officer is now working with us very positively. And I have every confidence that Martin will be able to continue that. So the one important factor for building control is we're taking what was a sort of full-size bathroom for a 2-bedroom flat, and we are slicing it in 2, and we are putting a compartment wall in there and creating 2 small en-suites. That compartment wall needs to be fully fire stopped. It needs to be insulated and acoustic separation, etc., etc. But the crucial one that is a hot button issue for everybody at the moment is fire stopping. There's some important detail around how that wall joins the extended communal opening, and also how it joins the underside of the roof and down into the bottom corner behind the skilling. So Martin is absolutely the right person to agree a sensible, pragmatic approach, but also push back if building control are going a little bit too far with what they want. And Martin, he's a very good sort of in the moment on-site problem solver with an eye on cost. So I think he's a good shout for that particular aspect of the work, and the quality of their finish is good. So it's the compartment wall that separates 14 and 16 that I am most interested in closely watching progress. They have already essentially completed what works are required for strip out. So the form of that larger bathroom has gone, and they are now in a position where it's opened up, and they can they'll set out where the new walls are all going. Building control officer is coming this week, and we can get agreement on the specific details of just exactly how that fire stop wall goes in. Okay, Brimore final account. So we are steadily chipping away at this discrepancy between the variations we have agreed to pay and the larger amount of variations that Brimore are asking us to pay. This is a combination of items that we believe are in the scope of the contract, and items that we've agreed are extra, but we disagree on the cost or quantity calculation that they've provided. So there's a number of items there. Their latest, we were previously £103,000 apart from each other. Their latest proposal is at £68,000. We have done a detailed review of that. We've just put it together this morning, and we believe that a figure around £35,000 would be appropriate. So we're seeing some final review on that. So we're back and forth, and we are both parties are keen to reach a settlement relatively quickly, and Brimore are coming to the table genuinely trying to sort of reach a mutually agreeable negotiated settlement. So all very positive. The last thing any of us want is for this to go to, I forget if it's arbitration or adjudication that we have set out in the contract. But what that means is then that we would spend as much money as we might save on the arbitration process. So straight away we'd be incurring more costs than it would be worth us arguing over. I think both sides are aware of that, and which is why we're both keen to get to a figure that works. I have budgeted £50,000 for this. So we're currently at 68. So we're outside of that, but we're heading close towards it, and we've made good progress from 103. And if we can get to 35 or a little bit above that, then that's slightly better. Okay, building control warranty sign off. So what we have completed the works on is units 1 through 13 and 15. The building control officer is now happy. He had a number of items, but we've ticked all those items off except for the fire egress window of unit 7. 7 is a ground floor unit at the front. The bedroom of unit 7 has it's a side opening casement window, and the central bar in the middle should be attached to one of these sides, so that when you open, the full width of the window is available for you to get out. The central bar doesn't move, so when you open these two windows, you've got two small gaps and the central bar is fixed. I believe the dimension you need is 450 millimeters, and we don't have that. This is an error that was correctly specified in our design, and so this is an error that the contractor is fixing. We believe it was the window subcontractor themselves who made the error, but we don't know whether it's Brimore or the subcontractor. I can't possibly see how it could be Brimore, because Brimore have just passed on the drawings that we've got. It clearly shows what it should be on the drawings. Those drawings were signed off by building control at design stage, and they have had a fire assessment there. So the replacement window has been ordered, it has been manufactured, it's being delivered for install. I think I might have said the 15th in my update. Yeah, I said the 15th. I've actually just heard we're getting it installed this Friday, so that's the 11th. So it's coming in a little bit earlier. The building control officer is happy with everything else in units 1 through 13 and 15, and has said he will sign off all those other units other than 7. We're just waiting for the actual certificates to be in hand. And then unit 7, we've got this window, and that will be finished off on Friday. It should be finished Friday from a building control perspective, depending on how much damage they make with taking out the window and replacing it. There might be a little bit of making good to be done. That won't be of a concern to the building control officer, but it might be of interest to us. But it shouldn't delay anything. And actually Unit 7 has already sold. So that's not really an issue. So that's good news, getting building control. It's always a little bit of a heart in mouth moment to make sure you get there. So far, the warranty provider has been very, very happy with everything that is coming along with building control, and hasn't. They've asked a bunch of additional questions, but they're not making us do anything any more onerous than building control. So I'm expecting to get sign off for the same units 1 to 13 and 15. So what that actually is instead of a building control completion certificate, it's a building control occupation certificate for each of the individual units, which basically says this building is safe and sound and watertight and structurally satisfactory, and from a fire perspective is safe, and this individual unit is safe. What we don't get is an overall completion certificate, because there are some units in the building that haven't been finished, and that's perfectly fine. We can sell the units based on those occupation certificates. People can occupy them, and they can occupy them safely. Mortgages can complete, so purchases can complete based on occupation certificates, and everybody is compliant. So it's the building control occupation certificate that we're getting, and it's the warranty equivalent. This is a new provider to me, it's ICW, so I don't actually know what they call their equivalent of the occupation certificate. But it's not unusual that warranty providers also have to sign off units in phases. Okay, next. So development exit loan. So we have, I've mentioned to you before that we've applied and been approved for what's part of the government scheme, so CBILS development exit loan. So when the building is finished and signed off by building control, then the government has put a scheme in place where basically they pay the interest payments and the arrangement fees on a new loan lasting up to 12 months to assist while you, the developer, has time to sell the units. So essentially, the government's kind of saying to us, we're not going to help you while you're still building, but once you've finished building and you have a unit that could be sold, could be occupied, we believe the current circumstances are outside of your control, and so we're willing to help and essentially give you 12 months of breathing space. So the first charge development debt, so the UTB loan basically gets swapped out for a loan, very confusingly, from another lender. It's still a commercial lender. It's called Hampshire Trust Bank, whose initials are HTB, which is the same as Help to Buy, which is very confusing. So Hampshire Trust are another commercial lender who operate in the development lending space, but they, for us, are providing our development exit loan. We are a good portion of the way through legals, let's call it halfway through legals. I was going to say 3/4, but 10 minutes before this call, I've got a massive email from my solicitor with 100 questions. So we are a good portion of the way through legals. As soon as we get building control sign off and warranty sign off, then I am going to be pushing to complete on that Hampshire Trust development exit loan. I've also managed to get them to agree, this is slightly unusual, but they've agreed that they will lend off the completed units. So they'll take the full amount of the loan that they were going to pay back and make some adjustments. They've managed to tweak their loan to value, basically, so that on 14 of the units, they are able to give us the funds for UTB, so we can swap out the first charge lender. So that should be in place during the second half of this month. So that's good news. means that we're not incurring that debt cost anymore. Okay, sales progress. So we still have no more reservations. Essentially what we've done since the last call, or since I saw those of you who managed to visit, we've now switched. We are in the final throes of completing the switch to our new agent. The new agent is actually two agents, Connells, who are based out of Basingstoke, and Nexa, who are a small independent, who will be based on site for weekend viewings for Friday afternoons, evenings and Saturdays. Connells have their adverts online. Nexa are putting their adverts online any minute now. We have tried to do some first stage. We've done a bit more work to tidy up the externals. Craig, you'll be pleased to hear. not as extensively as you're suggesting yet, which we'll get to, but we've started. So the external painting has started today and will get done over the next couple of days. We're trying to get that done today, tomorrow and Thursday, so that external photographs can be taken Thursday, Friday. And the hedge trimmer is coming back to finish off tidying up the bits of the hedge around the front corner where the bin store's going and where we've got some of the hoarding going up. They were worried that they were going to kill the hedge. And I've just said, look, we need visibility. This needs to look like a clean and tidy site. And we've got some hoarding that's gone up in that corner. So they're trimming that tomorrow and tidying up a little bit more of the hedge work around the other side as well. So external painting and hedge trimming and sales boards are happening first. Craig and Yvonne have just sent me some really interesting suggestions of other things to do to improve. Obviously, we also have to put up the fencing around the individual gardens. We've tried to do some bits to reinstate the sort of garden area to flat one, the show flat, that it wasn't in place when you were there, because we're running a bit of sound testing and we're about to restart viewing. So we want to get that, looking good. As Craig pointed out, first impressions are important and the externals are where you get your first impression. Connells have gone online. They've chosen to go online with external photos that aren't perfect, but they wanted to get going. They have some interest, I believe. They're just clarifying if they have two viewings lined up for this coming weekend, which will be their first viewings. We had agreed that we'd do online only and then a launch next weekend, but somehow communication between the two agents hasn't quite gone that well and they have snuck two in. So we have an official launch happening, a sort of open day happening on the 19th, Saturday the 19th. So anybody who wasn't able to get to site at the last visit, I'm very happy to run a visit probably next week now on either the 15th or the 16th, or if that's not possible, then we could always get you in when the agent's going to be there on the 19th anyway. Steph, I can see you writing that down. If there's a particular date that works for you, we can, there's a few people who want to come. I'm pretty sure we can probably mutually agree a date, 15th or 16th, and then the 19th is available as well, when we'll have some launch viewings there. Right, next up, yeah, Craig raised an interesting point. So it's Craig, I'll address this publicly. So the way I've run a different site, my site in Warwick, some of you will be more familiar with than others. Connells run that site, so it's a different Connells team, and we have a very formal process around a regular weekly meeting where we have a sales progression meeting, and that follows the strict format. So we go through all the viewings that have happened since last week, go through named individuals, what are their circumstances, what's their position, have they been with the mortgage, have they sat with the mortgage advisor, and sort of go through all the steps in the meeting in terms of numbers, stats, marketing. We look at what should happen next in terms of future marketing. They plan what the next phase of any online marketing, online or email or social media marketing campaign should be. So Craig, I've worked with a different Connells team, but it's the same company, obviously. And I was very pleased with the process we use there. I'm just now tying up what process Connells from Basingstoke are expecting to use. And if it at all falters, I'll drag in the process that Hannah from the Connells team in the Midlands has used. Because that worked quite nicely. I will do something similar with Nexa as well. I don't want them to have one sales call with me. I want to have two separate sales meetings so I know individually how they're each performing. My perception is, and this is just my guess, that Connells will generate more leads than Nexa, but Nexa will work harder on each individual lead. So if that bears, if the numbers bear that out, then that'll be interesting feedback to both of them in terms of what they can do and how they can move forward. I think that's pretty much come to the end of everything I wanted to say. With building control sign off coming, won't quite come this week, but we can start to talk to them about proper sign off by next week. And the CBILS loan and 2 sales, we were in a position where we could get those 2 sales through and done and complete, and that would start to pay off what would then be the development exit loan from Hampshire Trust, not United Trust. And we really are in a period where we need to just crash through these sales. If we can, and John Bacon understands this particularly well and was talking to me about it with his experience from OSEA with Glenn. What we really want to do is not have to use these 12 months that the development exit loan is providing us with. What we really want to do is use this summer period, get through our sales through this summer, and get that loan paid down as quickly as we can. And basically, now, once we've got building control and warranty sign off, when an individual unit is sale agreed, we want to push. There's no reason whatsoever to not push that through to mortgage offer, exchange and completion as quickly as possible. So your typical sales cycle through the year, sort of Christmas, Jan, Feb is quiet. Then there's a spring bump and there's an autumn bump. So there's typically a bump sort of March, April time and a September bump. When I say bump, I mean peak of activity. Those are the 2 peak points. The largest is typically spring and then autumn is separate. This year's obviously all been a little bit different. And at the moment, estate agents and solicitors' activities are all a bit crazy. But the majority of activity happens in the sort of middle 6 to 7 months, I think, I would say, between March and October. We've got 16 units here. 2 have been sale agreed. There's 14 units left. If we get 3 or 4 units sold per month, that gets us through June, July, August, September. That gets us through that period of time. And I've seen this happen on other sites. The first couple of sites take a bit longer. The searches are a bit longer. The legal pack is together and ready, but the queries that come through from the buying solicitors are new and fresh. And as that pack gets updated, things get quicker and quicker. So by the time you're doing the 10th or 15th or 16th sale, typically that's faster than the first or second sale in terms of from sale agreed to exchange and completion. You can typically get through them quicker. So we've got these next few months. Construction is largely winding down apart from those last 2 units. Our focus, my personal focus is all on the sales, the presentation of the building, sales progression, and how these agents are working. Alan and Emma still have some work to do in terms of the construction of units 14 and 16, and we've taken procurement of materials back in-house because we want to keep the costs down and we want to get it right and those sorts of things. But that's sort of how I think the next few months will shape up. And we should, with some certificates coming in the next couple of weeks, and Hampshire Trust coming in, hopefully following that. That puts us on a sort of good footing to then have a nice saleable product and not incurring vast expense going forward. Does anyone have any questions? John Baker, sorry, Craig, John Baker said he had to go in 2 minutes. Can I just go to him first? I will come to you next. John, if you had anything to say, do you want to?
Yeah, I was just going to ask a quick one just about solicitors. Are we recommending that buyers use any particular solicitor just to sort of speed up dealing with what might be the same queries, that sort of thing, or is that not really considered?
Yeah, I haven't done that in the past. I've seen it work well, and I've seen it go the other way when the particular recommended solicitor was poor. But I know, some of you will know Casey the Canadian, as he calls himself. He did that very well on his Bramley site.
Right.
If you think it's a good idea, John, I'm very happy to do that.
Yeah, it can work pretty well, but yeah, like you say, it's not guaranteed. So
yeah, I think I might talk to a couple and put some suggestions forward. And certainly we can make it attractive for the purchaser to use our preferred solicitor on the buyer's side. Yeah. And I have some good recommendations. The trouble is, my recommendations are Southampton based. They're not sort of Hook or Basingstoke based, so it does seem slightly odd, but there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Right.
Did you have anything else, John?
No, that's it for me. I've got to drop off now. But
great, thanks.
Great.
Thanks for coming. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Craig, I think you were up next.
Oh, just a quick one, Reece. The sales stuff. If you're doing regular sales meetings, are you able to attach a sort of summary sales status report to the newsletter?
Yeah, okay, I can do that. Please don't expect the summary to be very good quality. I've yet to find an estate agent who can actually write a weekly report that tells me anything without sitting down and talking to me for 45 minutes. But yeah, for sure, I can include them, absolutely. It'll give you an insight into the rubbish I have to read.
One quick one on legal costs. And are they showing up in full on the cash flow statements?
Because
it seems like they're ongoing.
So the legal costs for Hampshire Trust for the CBILS, obviously that was unexpected. So that has only just gone in. I put them in last month's projected, and this month we've just spent them. Those costs, some of those costs come back to us. Our own costs don't come back to us. So that's new and unexpected. Our legal costs associated with the sales are already in there as projected. So Craig, you just asked for sales progression report to be attached.
It's something indicative of what they're providing you.
Yeah.
I guess from each of the two different agents, so that we can have slightly more granular visibility on what they're providing. You'll understand it.
Yeah. And recommend a buying solicitor. Yeah. Was John Baker's suggestion. Great. Thank you, guys. Thank you for those who came to site. Thank you very much for visiting. If you weren't able to come and you have availability, particularly 15th or 16th, please just email me independently, and then I'll coordinate everyone's diary, and we'll try and get a site visit in 15th or 16th. If neither of those work, then there's a launch on the 19th. We could book you an appointment as if it's a purchase appointment. Obviously, we'll be very clear with the agent what that really means. But that's it. That would be an opportunity to have a visit then too. And if you think of any questions 2 minutes after we've hung up, please get in touch and let me know. And keep the suggestions rolling in. I love it all. It's always good to hear people's opinions. So thank you very much for everyone's help. Great stuff. Okay. Any other questions? If not, I'll end. Thanks. Have a good month, guys. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.